The following portion of Showcase is sponsored by Trustice Law Group. No one foresees themselves going through a divorce, but if it happens and you need to be protected, there's someone who can help. Our friend today is Shameka Rhoades, CEO and Managing Attorney at Trustice Law Group. I have questions for you today because a lot of people have been talking about the difference between contested and uncontested divorce. I hear those terms kind of thrown around. What is the difference and how long does each one take for Virginia?
So an uncontested divorce is literally the parties agree to everything. They are not disagreeing about anything, and that is just presenting paperwork to the court. And I tell people once we present the paperwork, it takes about 60 to 90 days to get it signed. But a contested divorce means the parties are not in agreement about something. Even if it's one issue, they're still contesting it, which means we have to go to court and a judge makes a decision.
So are they just deciding on that one thing you didn't agree on, or is everything on the table at that point?
Well, it depends. If we can get them to agree to everything else and it's just the one issue, I've gone to court and had trials on just the one issue. Or sometimes they'll say it's all or nothing, and then we go to court and we argue everything. And contested divorces can take anywhere from a year up until I've had one that lasts 5 years.
Wow. Yeah, let's talk about the length of time, because there seems to be a misconception. You want to file for divorce, boom, you're split, you're separated, you're doing your own thing. It's not really how it works. What are the common reasons that a divorce would take longer than expected?
Well, it can be if the parties have previously agreed to something and then they no longer agree because someone's mad now. Or if they have custody and visitation issues, that may extend it out longer because they're fighting over the children. It could be someone has property that we have to now get evaluated. If there's a business, there has to be a business evaluation to determine how much the business is worth. So it just depends on the assets and the people themselves, but they are normally what make it take long.
Emotions. Yes. Who would have thought that that would play into this?
Yes.
Now, if both sides agree that this is the best thing for them, is there still the mandatory waiting period in Virginia?
Well, up until July 1st there is. So the General Assembly has now enacted a bill that will allow people to file for a divorce from what they call bed and board. And so they can file the moment that they've separated and they determine it's going to be permanent, they can file for divorce after July 1st at that point. Instead of waiting right now, the wait is 12 months if you have children, 6 months if you've signed a property settlement agreement.
How do children typically affect the timeline and with custody and visitation and support?
Well, a lot of times it can extend it because people may start off filing in juvenile court in order to get custody and visitation established and then start the divorce process, which then pushes divorce back. Or if the divorce process the children are done during the divorce process, it can make it extend out longer if there needs to be some time for there to be some reunification, counseling, or therapy for the children. That can make the divorce last longer.
I can imagine that some very heated emotions can lead to people feeling very angry at each other, even if they started off thinking this was the best thing. What happens if, one spouse becomes uncooperative during this process?
It drags out the process and it makes it cost a lot more because then there are a lot more court hearings where you have to have the judge make decisions about everything instead of the parties being able to make those decisions.
What do you see as the biggest mistake that someone makes when they're going through this process?
Trying to do it by themselves and letting their emotions take over because you're in the midst of it, whereas an attorney is a third party who's on the outside who can be impartial, whereas you're in it and you're feeling everything and you're letting those emotions control.
It sounds like that is not what we want to do. We do not want the emotions to take over. Well, this has been some really fantastic advice. So if you want to learn more, you can schedule a consultation with Trustice Law Group by scanning the screen right there. Just scan that QR code. You can also go to their website at trustice.us, follow on social media, or give them a call. The preceding portion of Showcase was sponsored by Trustice Law Group.